What is up, guys? Very good weather still in London. How you all doing? It's been very eventful since I've been away for a few days. Hey, Babe Tattoos. Babe Tattoos. Sup, Paul? Hey, backstage. How you doing? Aren't liking the fact that I'm doing videos, man. Some people in the industry have been slating my name and stuff. No idea why. Hey, Morris. No idea why people get so touchy about it. Like, there's nothing. It's nothing. I can't see anything wrong with, you know, helping people. I don't get it. I don't get it. There was a comment earlier by a guy. God, I got crazy hay fever today, and he was like, you know, trippy pew pew. Can I outline using a round shader? I think that's what I used to do. It's obviously better to do a round liner if you can get. I'm sorry, guys, my internet's crap. Just swapped it over. Let's have a look at these images. Comments. So so let's go trippy pew pew. Hello, can I outline using a round shader? Yes, you can. I think it's a bit harder, I think, to push into the skin, which can cause more trauma, but yeah, I would strongly suggest just using a thicker liner, you know. Thanks, Bizet. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name. LSA, what do you think of Lil B tattoo and the whip shading technique? Yeah, sick. Lil B tattoo was the one who inspired me to get into that technique, man. Like, he's fucking sick. I love Lil B. He's such a sick guy as well. Met him at, in London at the convention. He's a wicked guy, you know. So yeah, like I fully rate him. I like how he teaches people as well, you know. It's not like he's scared of getting in front of the camera, and you know, that's essentially, I studied from him, like his videos on YouTube. So that's who, just move this around. That's who inspired me to teach people, because you know, I get a sense of feeling good when I'm giving back to people, you know, especially when I didn't have it myself. So Kyle Alton, what's a good selection of needles for someone just starting out on a tight budget? I mean, just the essentials, man, like liners and mags, curved mags. I would just get, like, depends on what style you're doing. Like, if you're doing old school, I would get like a, maybe a thicker needle to line with, maybe an 18 or something. And then, I don't know, like a smaller mag and then a larger mag. And then maybe if you're doing neo trad, I'd use that same kind of needle selection. So maybe like an 18 round liner. I would get maybe like a 9 curve mag or something, and then maybe a 15 or a 17 curve mag. Depends on how big the pieces are, man. But yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. And then if you're doing neo trad, use them, and then maybe like a thinner liner, like a 7 or something, or maybe a 5. Depends on how you want it to look, my man. Paul Galvin, been tattooing myself last 6 months, but really started to concentrate on drawing as I thought it would be needed to get in a shop. Yeah, I mean, a good portfolio would be needed really to get into a shop. But this is why I'm doing this, guys, because there's fuck all apprenticeships out anymore. Like, you'll only find an apprenticeship take my water out of the sun. They're well hot now. You only get an apprenticeship at a shop unless if you know someone or who's willing to fucking work there with you, so you could, you know, or to be honest, like if you're gonna like it's silly. Like there's so many. I mean, it's good in the sense of their business and stuff, and they can do whatever they want. But this is why I'm doing this, because it's so hard for someone to find. You know, it's so hard for someone to get the opportunity to look up to someone, to find somewhere that's, you know, gonna help teach them for nothing. You know, so I was gonna have to pay thousands for my apprenticeship. I was gonna pay £4,000 for mine, £3,000 for £4,000, I think, and then I got out of there before that all went the way it went. But there's academies now, like Mako Academy. Mako's a sick artist in Italy. He does academies. He's probably earning fucking shitloads from that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, unless you're willing to spend thousands of pounds on like a course or an academy, then it's you know, it's hard. It's hard to learn. Like, but maybe for people that are shitting on my name and stuff, and, you know, saying, oh, we should just watch a YouTube video and then we can all become tattooists. Well, you kind of can, man. That's how I fucking did it. And look at my work. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm the best. Fucking far from that, you know. But I think I'm doing all right. You know, I've got loads to learn and shit. But I learned a lot from the very little videos on YouTube 4 years ago. You know, Lil B came about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But I was already in a studio then when I found Lil B. But I got into tattooing by chance, you know, like. But I started working on myself, man. I'd show you the fucking first. I'll show you the first. This is the first tattoo I ever did on myself. This is a rose. You can't even see it. You can't see it because it's so bad. But this is the first ever tattoo I did on myself. Shitty rose. I did it in my kitchen. In my kitchen. At my mum's house. So, you know, I'll probably do a video on all my first tattoos and then you can compare yourself. But as long as you're, I mean, like the comment said earlier, he said something like, you know, a lot of the old school artists won't like me doing this because they want the control in who comes into the industry and who doesn't, and who learns a skill and who doesn't. Well, I think the tattoo industry is for everyone, man. You know, like if you're artistic enough and you want to do it, fucking have a go, innit, you know? That's what I say. I can't draw. I can't draw off the top of my head. I used to copy things. I haven't drawn for years, to be honest. Because of the style I do, I don't really draw. If I was to draw, you know, if someone was to say, draw me a dog or a horse, I'll be like, it looked like a 3-year-old's drawn it, do you know what I mean? But if you gave me a picture of a horse and the lines, I could shade it in pretty decent. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's practice. If I then learned to draw for a year, I'd probably be better than I was now. But then it's the same as if you learned to tattoo now, in a year's time, you'd be better in a year. Do you know what I mean? So it's all practice. But it depends on, like, everyone's got a height, a ceiling to their ability. Like, not everyone can become Nico Hurtado, you know what I mean? Not everyone can be Cristiano Ronaldo, you know? Like, there's millions of footballers out there, but they're not all Cristiano Ronaldo, because I think everyone's got height to their ability and how their brain processes their skill, you know? And they'll get to a certain point where they can't progress anymore unless they start to get these little tips and tricks from other artists that have been in the game for like 10, 15 years. That's just how it is with anything, you know? It depends on what your brain wants you to do, but... Right, let's see these comments. I'm going on now. Jesus. Paul Galvin. Yeah, so, yeah, needed to get into a shop. I'd definitely go for, as an art or a skill, I think it's definitely an art and a skill. I think if you're skilled enough to make it an art, then, yeah, I mean, there's people that just do it for, like, for money kind of things. I mean, it's good to earn good money from something you love doing. But there's been times where I've fallen out of love with tattooing because the people are just so fucking, not dickheads, but just so egotistical and shit. Like, you know, it's nice to be comfortable in your life by doing something you like, but what's the, you know, it's crazy, man. It just blows my mind. Some of the stuff people were calling me CUNTs, and I'm not even gonna fucking talk about this guy, blah blah. And I was like, well, what's the deal with helping people, innit? I had no one to help me. I had very few people around me that were willing to give their time up when I was learning. So I just had to find out my own way, and I had no resources. I had no one to look up to. So this is what I'm just trying to do, you know. I'm just trying to help people, basically, and not ask for thousands of pounds in return, because, you know, I don't need money. What do you say about heavy scabs in black part? It's normally that the person spent too long. That's from Bizai Gurung, if I've pronounced that right. That's normally when the artist has spent too long in the area. It's just, you know, packing solid black in can be traumatizing to the skin. Lower your voltage for a start. I would definitely lower my voltage when packing in black. Not too low, but yeah, the longer you spend in the area, the more trauma you're gonna have to the skin. To heal it, I mean, it's gonna heal how it wants to heal, to be honest. Like, when it heals, if it needs a touch up, just go back over it, but just be gentle, man. You know, skin's precious. You want to keep it nice. And also, people that I normally ask my clients to moisturize their skin with a good skin moisturizer a week before they come and get tattooed, because it helps so fucking much. That's a really good tip, actually. It helps so much to hydrate the skin. If the skin's dry, I feel like it doesn't take the ink as well and stuff like that, you know. It's a lot smoother to tattoo. You know, no one wants dry skin. Harry Senior, I really want to get into tattooing. What would you advise the best way to get into it? Man, buy some fake skin, buy a machine, buy some needles, buy some inks, buy a power pack, watch my videos, and just teach yourself. I would strongly recommend working at a tattooist shop. I was going to do a video on this as well, because people don't know hygiene and how you should set up and break down. So I used to break down and set up at a studio for about 3 months before I even touched the machine. So that's one thing you need to learn to do, is be clean, because that's what the game is. If you know, if it's not clean, then you're gonna have big problems and big lawsuits. So yeah, don't tattoo anyone under 18. No matter if they've got parental guidance and consent, it's still illegal. A lot of people say, oh, I've got my mum's and dad's permission though. Still illegal. You cannot fucking tattoo someone under the age of 18. And you'll probably go to jail if you get caught. So strongly advise not to do that. Yeah, I'll probably make a video about hygiene. But yeah, wear gloves all the time. Don't cross-contaminate. This is just, you know, it's just common sense, but people don't really. If you've been tattooing someone, you've got their blood and their ink on your hands, take your fucking gloves off, stick them in the bin before you touch anything. Don't touch the client's skin without gloves. You know, it's just it's common sense. But and when you do touch something that is, you know, like your phone or something, or if you need more ink or whatever, just change your gloves. Change your gloves at any given opportunity. You'll probably go through a box of 50 pairs of gloves in about a week. I do, because I'm just constantly changing my gloves. Did that answer your question? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, try and find an try and find an apprenticeship, Harry. That's the best way, but make sure you go to a decent shop. And just tattoo fake skin until you're, you know. And then I started getting clients for free. I was tattooing, I was tattooing for free for about 2-3 months just to build up. You know, everyone will want a tattoo for free. You know, you won't struggle to find clients if you put it out on Facebook or social media. Social media is your biggest tool. Like word of mouth's good, but I'd definitely stick to social media when you're trying to promote yourself and get into it. Yeah. From Bali, Budi Makonis. That's sick, man. Bali, wow, that's crazy how far this reaches, man. Big love though. There's some sick tattoo studios in Bali, to be fair. I can't remember his name. Luminez, I think his name is. He's sick. He's so good. And he does like big like leg sleeves in like fucking 2 days, man. It's crazy how fast he is. Thanks for the love, guys. I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate the love that you're showing me. I'm going to carry on doing videos regardless of what people say. In what age was you interested in tattooing? Sapana TNG. Well, it's 4 years ago to this day, I got into tattooing. Well, it's August, really. It's August. So not quite 4 years. So 4 years, I'm 27 next week. So 26, 25, 24, 23. So I was 22, I mean, I started getting tattoos when I was 18, but I never thought I'd be an artist, you know? Yeah. God, so many messages. Thank you for the answer. Love from Malaysia. No worries, Trippy. So Jinta Juna, so you told us you can't draw, yeah? How are your reference look like? What is that my, I mean, like when I was going into the studio, I literally got together, I used to draw like just as a hobby kind of thing, but I don't think I was very good. I found my book, my not reference book, my portfolio, if you want to call it that, the other day, and it's just fucking awful, man. I was like, how the hell did I ever get this apprenticeship? It's crazy. I always try, and in regards to references, I always use a real life reference. I won't draw something unless I'm doing neo-trad, which I never do anyway, or old school, which I never do anyway. So, yeah, old school and neo-trad, it just depends on the style of tattooing you want to get into. Because I'm like quite realistic references, I just use real life stuff. So like if it's like a statue, I'll use a statue of that god, or I'll try and find something. Phoenixes I find really hard because they're a mythical creature, they're not real. I have to like find something that's gonna look like a phoenix, like a head of an eagle or something, and then like draw bits onto that, like the feathers coming off, so it's got like these feathers coming out and stuff. Like then I'll draw feathers and stuff, and like wings and stuff, but I'll always use real life stuff to manipulate my work. Have I missed anyone? Geralberto Archival, is that your name? Keep doing what you do. I like to watch videos. Cheers, man. I really appreciate that. Like, honestly, man, so many. So Morris Rodriguez, my question is regarding use of mag needles. Whenever I use the mag for shading or fill in, the skin gets puncture and it bleeds, and a client does not want to continue to finish it. I mean, there's a number of things, to be honest. You could be going too deep. Probably hanging out your needle too deep, or your machine's too fast. It's, you know, trauma, it's breaking the skin a lot quite quickly. Slow down, man. Slow down. Don't, you know, smash it in try slowing your hand movements down, slowing the machine down, depends on what machine you use, and retract your needle back in so it's like only a bit hanging out. Not like, because when you're packing in black, you have to have it a bit hanging out anyway, because you have to really, you know, hit it hard. But yeah, definitely turn your machine down, man. It seems like you're going too heavy. Too heavy. Right, so we have Adrian Zambrano. What's up, buddy? What's up, man? How can I to do shades around the tattoo? I don't understand. I don't understand. If you get a chance, will you still tattoo with cool tattoo machine, or will you choose rotary? To be honest, there's so like I've got a couple coils here actually from Love Tattoo in LA, Norm. These are sick. These are like custom made coil machines, which are pretty cool. This is, my girlfriend did my hand, so it's still like, I can't get the stencil off. But this is a liner and a shader. See, I asked him to tune these, but they're too loud to work in the place I'm working in right now because there's an office next door, so I just haven't used them. But they're a lot different to tattooing with rotary, to be honest. I find, because I'm not experienced with coils, a coil machine was one of the first machines I used to start with, because I'm not used to it, and I think they need retuning, to be honest, to how I want to tattoo, but I just don't know how to do it. So I need advice on that, if anyone has advice. Because I would love to use them because they're sick machines. One of my favourite ever artists uses them as well, so it would be good. But yeah, so let's have a look at some other messages. Harry, man, thank you for that. My stroke in the injector. I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even know. Probably like middle, so maybe around a 3, probably 3.5 mil stroke. Yeah, I have no idea. Thanks, Gravity Gamer. How many tattoos do you consider is a good start to a portfolio? Real quick, Gravity. I don't know, man. Depends on what I've been into some studios. I've rang hundreds of studios, and they want like a big fat fucking book just full of drawings and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, to be honest, I went in with like probably 10 pages full, but you know, the place that I was working in wasn't the greatest, so that didn't last very long. Thanks, Eddie, man. I really appreciate that as well. Ginta Juna, how do you prevent leaving the stencil on the skin? See, look, I stenciled, this has been 3 days now and it's still solidly on there, and like, that ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. I've washed it so many times. So I've got a video on how to keep stencil on the skin. If you follow those steps, this is proof, this is not coming off. No matter how hard, it's not coming off. I have to go in 5 or 6 minutes. Let's just... cheers, Geraberto. I'll keep the videos coming. Yeah, Sapana TNG. Yeah, I did struggle, man. I've definitely been through my fair share of shit. people cancelling clients because I've gone and worked at a different studio, and people stealing my fucking gear, thousands of pounds, you know, worth of tattoo stuff, and you know. But you know, it's all experiences that I've forgiven, forgave, and you move on, you know. How did I learn to draw? I just used to copy stuff, man. Like, I just used to copy stuff. I can't really draw from my head. Like, there's some seriously talented people that can draw from their head. Like my art teacher, he was sick. Yeah, Eddie, I won't give up on these videos. I'm gonna be cracking on. How do you create your stencils, Melee? I've been getting tired of hand tracing them, but I can't seem to settle on a thermal printer. Any advice? So, so I hand stencil, but instead of using thick carbon paper that you normally do use for hand stenciling, I use the thermal printer paper, and I'll put my reference sheet on that. But you have to tape it, because if it moves, then it's not on the back of the piece of paper that you're trying to stencil, if you know what I mean. It's on the actual thing. So that's how I stencil. I will stencil on thermal ink paper, remove the little like brown paper you get in between it, and then you just like put it flat, and you just don't want to move the paper. If you're going to move the paper, move it all at once, make sure it doesn't slip, otherwise you're fucked. You have to start again. I'll probably, it's hard to explain, but yeah, I'll probably do another video on that. So, where are you from? I'm from London. Well, West London. Originally from Lincolnshire. Also, Melee, with regards to stencils, you can stencil using an iPad. I've got a video on my YouTube about it on here. Stencil using an iPad, and then you can print that stencil off because you've already drawn it, and then stick it straight through a thermal printer. To be honest, thermal printer paper, stencil paper, it probably sticks better, and it's easier to get like on the skin because it's not as thick as paper if you're hand stenciling with carbon paper. So you can like press it on, and you can get into loads of different cracks, especially if someone's like really muscular. They've got like quite deep deep lines to fill, to try and push that paper in. It's really good for that. Yeah, Eddie Katura, I do use Photoshop. I use Photoshop for everything, and on my iPad Pro I'll use Procreate and Amaziograph, which is a mandala maker. Answered that one. How do you go about tattooing since you're not at a studio? Do you? Yeah, I've got a private studio with a license, my man. I rent a studio space. That's where I tattoo from. Do you from your own home with your license, or do you rent a space? Yeah, I rent a space. Thanks for the appreciation, Kyron. How do I recommend on learning to draw good? Just draw, man. Draw whatever you see, you know. There's books out there as well, which are really good. How to learn to draw books. YouTube videos, man. That's how I would do it, you know. I would learn on YouTube because there's thousands of YouTube videos probably, you know. But yeah, the more, it's just practice, man. Everything you do in this world is practice. What kind of advice to achieve the smoothest blend? So there's so many different ways. There's like, I've met artists that use colors in their ink that's close to skin color, that they can pack in the skin to like blend it out even smoother. I personally don't like the look of that because it feels like it looks a bit cartoony if you use color. So I will just kind of use, it's hard to explain, man. I can't really explain it. I would probably just slow your hand right down, just like, but don't have your machine running too high either, and just layer it up really, really gently and go from a dark ink and then to a light ink. I have that. There's a question on my one of my videos saying what's the ink cup with no ink in and just like sterile water, and that's so like when I'm blending out to like virtually nothing, like smoothing the blend out, I'll then dip from like the light or the medium or something, and then I'll dip straight into the sterile water and then blend it out using that as well, so it gets like a proper soft blend. But it's really hard to explain. Shane Spirits are cool, man. I've used one of them, they're really good. Gravity, I used that for a year and it's amazing. It's super smooth to shade with as well. Quite fast. I think they've got a really short throw in them as well. So yes, which is really good for shading. Hard to line with though, I found. And because the motor's quite a small motor, I think it's hard to line with bigger needles. Smaller needles are fine, but bigger needles are hard. Thanks, Gravity, again. Is it good to use stippling technique on coils? Yes. Eric uses that. A lot of people use that. Eric Mastinazin, he's, again, my favourite artist. He's sick. I would probably, I don't know, man. I can't. Using a liner or a shader. Is it okay if I use the stippling technique on coils, and which one should I use, liner or shader coil for your stippling technique? I have no idea, because I've never used the stippling technique with, I don't know, just trial it and see what comes out better, see what the skin's saying when you use it. I can't really give my answer on that because I mean, I would probably go for a liner because it hits harder, but then you don't want to hit it too hard. I don't know, I really don't know. And maybe a shader, probably a shader, I don't know. And what type of tattoos do I like to tattoo? Black and grey realism, yeah, traditional's fun to do. When I've been like going through a few years of like doing the same stuff. Yeah, black and grey, I don't really do colour because that's a whole nother story. It will be easier to stipple with bigger stroke machines like 4.2. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm probably in the middle because I like to switch between styles because I shade with the mag as well during the tattoo, so that's probably why. But yeah, I think the bigger stroke machines will be easy to stipple with. I'm sure that's right, I think. But yeah, Shane Spirit's nice. Yes, I use my iPad stencil as well. This is from Miele again. Then I trace onto thermal. I wouldn't trace, I would print the bit out and then put it through a printer. Also, do you prefer paying rent for a studio or paying a percentage to work in a high-end shop, and why? Thanks. Just depends on how much money you want to spend, man. Like I worked in a high-end shop for a year and a half before I had to leave for a year. And because he was going on TV and he needed the studio for himself, I paid 50%, and so everything I earned, I just earned half of. And then it went to a different setup where I then had to pay £120 a day, I think that's right. But yeah, then it was like a fixed price, but then I had to buy all my inks, like everything I had to buy. I think even cleaning equipment, I'm not sure. But like everything I had to buy, it was literally just renting that chair to cover costs of studio, like bills and stuff, like electric and water and stuff. But yeah, so that was my thing, which I didn't have, I was still, the main important thing is that you've got a licensed, clean place to tattoo from. You know, regardless of what your situation is, if it's a clean, licensed place, then you're fine. You know, you are fine. How do you mix ink in ink cups? I think again, Gravity. There's a video how I mix the ink. I use just outline in black, and then I'll use I will use mixing solution or sterile water to mix them up. The best way I learned to draw was I'd take pictures of roses and then I'd start tracing over them, and I'd then take pictures of statues and do the same. Yeah, exactly. That's how I would learn to draw, because then you're sort of drawing how you would tattoo. You know, you would like stencil it almost, and then like just shade it in. What needle depth and voltage speed will be perfect? Sarath Edward, depends on what you're doing, man. Needle depth is normally around 2mm, and voltage depends on your machine. My machine runs high, which is why I have it high, 10 to 12 volts, but I've had machines where I've only run them 7 volts and 5 volts and 9 volts. So yeah, it literally depends on your machine. Bishop V6. I think that's the Bishop I've got. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's a V2. I don't know. It's the one of the original ones with the metallic body. I think they've all got a metallic body, to be honest. I can't remember what it is. It's at the studio, but I'll probably. I mean, they're amazing machines. They're really good. But the only thing is, the motors burn out quite quick. Maybe I was running it too high. I don't know, but and sometimes it would go like fast and then slow and then fast and then slow. So I don't know what was going on there, but it's going like that when I was lining. So it's super annoying. But that's probably something else, or you know, as a defect in the motor or something. I don't know. Or I've cleaned the machine and like a bit of cleaning solution had gone into the motor and it fucked it up. I don't know, but yeah, or like the clip cord, because I didn't have an RCA cable to power it. I had a split clip cord, and maybe the connection was dodgy. I don't know, but Bishops are a huge brand, amazing brand. I'd definitely suggest a Bishop. I was actually thinking about buying one of their new cartridge machines, but it's just money, man, you know. Thanks, the VBKK. Hi, Alton. What do you think about sacrificing lambs? That's a really weird question. I probably wouldn't agree with it at all. Brandon, yeah, you can book a session if you want. Head over to my email and just email me, man. Yeah, so when I put the ink and the mixing solution in, I will normally get either a ink mixer, where you can buy these little machines where it's like a pen and you like mix it, it goes zzz, and it's got like a little tiny mixer like that, goes zzz, and mixes it up in, or you get a really small needle, so like a 3 or a 5 liner, and you then just go from light to dark. If you go from dark to light, you're gonna contaminate all the ink. So you go from light to dark, and you then just mix how you just mix it like you turn the machine on and mix it in each cup, going up and up and up. But go from light to dark, because if you go from dark to light, you're gonna contaminate, and then your lights are gonna be dark. So yeah. Yeah, man, Gravity. Some other areas of the skin are thinner than others. Yeah, it depends on where. Like bones, around bones, it's like around bony areas, like the elbow is really hard. Knuckles again blow out a bit, like you can see it on on my fingers, they're a bit blown. If you can see, like in here, they're a bit blown. But to be honest, like it's very hard. It's very hard not to, you know. But right, I'm gonna go for another couple of minutes. Christine Rothstein. Hi Oliver, you are using the Killer Ink cartridges. Yes, I heard so much negative things about these modules. Yes, I'm searching for a Shayna alternative. Yeah, so the Killer Ink ones, I have had some troubles with. To be honest, I always go back to Shayin. I always go back to Shayin. Shayin cartridges are just so fucking good, man. They're just so high quality, you just can't beat them, but they're so expensive, that's the thing. I can't remember what the other needle brand I used to use was, which I don't even know why I stopped. Probably the delivery times or something, but Ned's, I think it's called Ned's cartridges, they're very good. I just stick to Shayin. Like, like the more you spend on your equipment, if you're, it's like you wouldn't drive a car with a cheaper engine in just to, drive it at cheap. Okay, let's say this: you wouldn't drive a car with cheaper fuel in, knowing it's, you're not going to get the right performance out of it, but it might be cheaper. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would always pick, especially when you're inking someone's skin for life and it's irreversible, I would definitely choose to use whatever you're comfortable with. And for me, that's the higher end brands like Shayin, because they're just so good. You just can't beat them. Some specific types of needles you can, like I have used, I don't know, like a liner from Killer Ink, and then I will then use mags from Shayin, because you just can't beat the mags, all round though, Shayin for sure, 100% for sure. But to be fair, the Killer Ink, because there's a few Killer Ink cartridges, the precision ones are good. That's the ones that I use. A bit more expensive than the see-through normal, I think they're called Stella. Stella cartridges. So the Stella cartridges are a bit dodgy. Not dodgy, but they're just not as high quality. And I, at this stage in my career, I can sort of notice that, and it affects my work a tiny bit. And I always then end up going straight back to the Shayin. But yeah, the precision needles from Killer Ink are good. That's what I use as well. Shayin and precision Killer Ink. From Italy, Alton Vrappi, that's a sick name. Bro, can you explain some about tattooing in UK? I'm a black and grey tattooer from Italy and I would like to get working there. I mean, license, man, that's all you need. You need to pay for a license, get a registered building to tattoo from, and that's it. That's literally it, I think. Obviously, as long as someone from the council that you apply to tattoo from in the area will come out, make sure you're all clean. They'll make sure you've got waste all right and stuff, like clinical waste and stuff like that, and then they will watch you set up, watch you break down, make sure you're doing it all properly and clean, what you clean the studio with, so it's pretty good standards here. But yeah, I mean, I would just go about guesting in a studio. If I lived in, Italy and I wanted to go and permanently do it, I would guest first. I'd get a flight, take your tattoo gear, guest over in a studio. And then if they like your work, go a few times, hang out with them, build a rapport. And then potentially, if a slot comes up in the studio, give them a message, That's what I would do. Favorite ink companies: Kyle, St. Patrick. Used to tattoo with world famous ink. They're good. Just found their stuff quite dark though. But I only used a couple. I found myself. I like Silverback. Silverback is good. It heals nice in the skin as well. But there's so many, like all these ink companies do so many different versions of ink. They heal a bit bluish, then they heal a bit greenish, then they heal, you know, like it depends on like how strong the pigmentation is and stuff. And I just use Dynamic Black, man. I use Dynamic Black and I'll water it down to whatever I need because it's just like, it's just black. You know, it doesn't heal. It heals how it heals in like everyone's skin. Everyone's skin's the same. I've used some world famous inks that have been really dark in the skin. But again, you know, it depends on what style you go for, man. But I just use the Dynamic Black because I feel like it's pretty black, you know. It's black when you want it to be black, and it's world famous inks are quite thick, I think. Memory serves me right, and that can be hard. Like the Kurasumis and stuff are quite thick, so it's really hard to wipe off the skin. So if you're wiping someone's skin hard, it's, you know, it's causing them pain. You don't really want to do that. So Dynamic Black and Silverback ink are really watery, but they still have a good pigmentation level where, you know, it still stays quite dark. You know, they've got quite a strong pigmentation, but the higher the pigmentation, the harder it is to wipe off the skin. That's basically what it is, you know. How many times a day do you recommend a client to apply tattoo aftercare? I apologize for so many questions. I just always like to learn. Blessings from Miami. Sick. You should slide for the summer. I would definitely go to Miami in the summer, 100%. I actually had an aunt that used to live in Fort Lauderdale. That's Miami, isn't it? Or was that Florida? I think it's the same place, right? I don't know. I just look so stupid there. Yeah, so Kyle, that hopefully answers your question. Did you start working in a shop on your own? If on your own, how would you practice? I practiced on my legs, practiced on my family. I started working in a studio first, just setting up and breaking down. I said this earlier in the video. And yeah, I set up and broke down in the studio for 3 months. Didn't even touch tattoo machine. Was just ghosting, looking over people's shoulders. But that didn't really help me because I didn't know what I was looking for because I wasn't actually tattooing. So I was just watching someone tattoo someone, not knowing what the fuck they were doing. So it didn't really help me. But breaking up and setting down definitely helped me. That's the only thing I took from that studio away from me was to set up and break down cleanly, so, and hygienically. So that's, I'm just gonna shut this curtain. That's better. That's the only thing I took away from that studio, was to be hygienic, and that's the #1 thing, to be honest, before you start getting tattooing. But the rest I learnt on my own. As soon as I was, you know, I could set up and break down fine, I started on my legs. Started doing, like, I'll show you again, started doing like this is a rose I did. You can't really see it, I don't think. No, you can't see it, but like I did a rose. Hold on, let me see if I can get some light away from this. Better? Not really. Yeah, like I did a rose here, which was shit. And then I did like just lines and stuff, man, you know, like I just did lines in my skin. And that, like, in turn made me get the correct needle depth and stuff. And yeah, it went from there, really. Hello, Poya from Norway here. Sick. Do I have to be good at drawing to become a good tattoo artist? I don't think so. I think it definitely helps, because the muscles in your hand will be already trained up to put in smooth lines. When you become a tattooist, because when you become a tattooist, you have to train the muscles up in your hand for less wobble and stuff like that, you know. So it definitely helps. And like with light composition as well, like knowing where to put the light shades, where to put the dark shades, it definitely helps. to draw and study, you know, just basic composition of light and stuff. But you don't, I mean, I can't really draw, to be honest. And you know, I think I'm doing all right so far, in the 4 years I've been doing this. Yeah, I'm quite a creative person, so if you're creative, you'll put more time and effort and energy into whatever you're doing. So, especially if it's a creative thing like tattooing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't believe you need to be able to draw, you know. Fort Lauderdale is 45 minutes away from Miami, but same beach is sick. Oh man, I'm down. If that's an invitation, I'm so down to come out and do something. How do you prevent a lot of ink from coming around the skin when you initially put the needle in the skin? It gets a little annoying when it hides the stencil. Yeah. So, who's that from? Giorgio Petrangeli. Petrangeli? I'm sorry if I can't pronounce these names. I'm guessing you're Italian, but yeah. Hi man. It sounds like it's like when you put the needle in, it just pulls out all over the skin, and then you can't see like where you're going. I would use a really thin layer of Vaseline or ointment on the skin. I've seen people use A&D ointment. It's like this vitamin ointment, or hustle butter is a good one. Nice, vegan friendly, no chemicals ointment. I just use Vaseline, to be honest, because it's the nicest one. Or hustle butter, I use hustle butter a lot, because it smells banging as well. Yeah, put a really thin layer before you put the needle in, man, and it will bead the ink, so then you'll be able to see where you're going. But again, it's practice. Like, the more you do it, if you then say, if you're doing a line and you start the line and you can see it and then the ink pulls out, just keep going, just follow your hand through, or just wipe it down and then go back into the line, you know. Or if you're shading a bit with a mag, if you're, you know, shading, just shade it and then wipe it, shade it, wipe. But Vaseline will definitely help you, man. I'm gonna leave this video here at 52 minutes, that's gone quick. Thanks for all tuning in. I'm gonna tune in next time. I'll probably tune in sometime this week to answer some more. Yeah, Christine, yes, I just saw that pop up. Yeah, so ointment, like hustle butter and stuff, it does take the irritation away, and it leaves it nice and smooth and moisturized as well. So definitely something like that, yeah. But yeah, man, like, cheers for tuning in, and I will be dropping some videos of me tattooing this week, showing my ink cups from a different angle. It's hard with what I've got. I'm using my phone currently because I can get closer, but I'll try and use my camera. Now it's fully charged, it's dead, and I had some issues with some memory card stuff, so I will be dropping some videos this week on a different camera angle, hopefully showing. The thing is though, if I'm showing what inks I'm putting in, because I haven't got two cameras like recording it, like recording what I'm dipping, and then, which would be like ideal, and then recording a tattoo, it's hard. So the camera will be probably more away from the piece I'm doing, but then you'll get more of a shot in, so then you'll get like the inks and stuff in, and then you can see what I'm doing. But yeah, we'll see how it looks. Yeah, it's all going to be trial and error, but yeah, I'll do some videos this week on that. But yeah, thanks again guys for tuning in for this one, and yeah, thanks a lot for your support, it really means a lot, and I will see you all probably sometime this week. If you follow my Instagram, follow it, and I will put updates on when I'm going live this week, because I need to check my diary to make sure I've got time. And yeah, if you don't follow my Instagram, it is at Oliver Ayre, OLIVERAYRE. There's plenty of tags up in my videos to follow me from anyway, if